What are the 7 ways by which we can prevent an adverse drug effect? In this video, we are going to discuss exactly that. Let's start. Hey, this is Dr. Vinash. I'm the medical coaching expert and I'm on a mission to help 1 million medicos clear their basics, upgrade their knowledge and excel in their clinical practice. Welcome to yet another session where I discuss pharmacology. Today we are talking about 7 important ways by which we can prevent adverse drug reactions. 1. Don't give any drug which is not necessary. Avoid all inappropriate use of drugs in context to your patient's clinical condition. Let me give you an example. It will make things clear for you. You might have heard about people who are suffering from a viral infection and then they take antibiotics. Antibiotics don't work as antivirals, but people don't understand that. So the drug is inappropriate, and when you give such inappropriate drugs, chances of adverse drug reaction increases drastically. Second important point would be use appropriate dose, appropriate route, appropriate frequency of the drug. Don't make up your own doses, don't make up your own routes or frequency. Now this becomes very, very important because many times the dose, the duration of treatment changes from patient to patient. Understanding how much drug your patient needs reduces the chances of adverse drug effect drastically. The third thing that you should be doing is take a good detailed history. Did your patient have any drug reactions in the past? A person who has had drug reactions in the past tends to have a drug reaction in the future also. So when you know your patient has had a reaction to a drug, you can be more careful when you're selecting your drug, when you're administering drug. Don't just ask for history of previous drug reaction. Ask for any allergic history. People who have allergies tend to react to drugs more often as compared to people who are non-allergic. Point number 5. Whenever you're giving 2 or more drugs, see to it that they don't interact with each other. Otherwise, the drug action may change and the chances of side effects or adverse effects will increase drastically. 6th point. Whenever you're giving a drug, use the correct administration technique. Now what do I mean by this is, when you're giving a drug that is supposed to be given intramuscularly, please give it intramuscular. Don't give it intravenous or oral. That's the logical thing to do. Throughout this textbook, and if you are a part of my VIP group where I coach you one-on-one for your universities and MDS NEET preparations, you will realize that I will keep on talking about some drugs that have to be given on empty stomach, some drugs that have to be given along with food, like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Aspirin is known to stop prostaglandin synthesis. Prostaglandins are responsible for formation of the mucus in the stomach, and that mucus protects the cells of the stomach from acidity. When a patient takes aspirin on empty stomach, the mucus layer is not made because prostaglandins are not made, and if there is no mucus layer, the acid will directly interact with the cells of the stomach and can cause gastritis. So you never give aspirin on empty stomach. I'll give you one more example. There's a drug called as furosemide. This is a diuretic, a drug that causes excess urine output. Simple. Never give this drug at bedtime. Because if you give this drug at bedtime, when the patient takes it, and he will have to get up repeatedly for urinating, right? So you give it after breakfast or with breakfast, so that when the patient is awake, even if micturition happens, he does not really have to disturb his sleep. See, that's a logical thing to do. Getting a correct administration technique. And the 7th important step that you can do to stop adverse drug reaction is, for some of the drugs, you can carry out lab monitoring. Let's take an example. Imagine a patient who has a heart problem. He has a clot, a blood clot in his coronary arteries. And for that, we prescribe him an clotting drug called as warfarin. If you give less warfarin, clots will happen. If you give too much warfarin, there will be no clots at all and the patient will bleed. So how do you know whether the amount of warfarin that you have given is enough or not? Well, when you give a patient warfarin, you monitor his prothrombin time. And that way, you can be sure that the patient has just enough clotting so that he does not overclot, neither does he underclot and lead to bleeding. Getting the idea? So when you follow these 7 steps, 7 principles, you will get least number of side effects in your patient. Remember, you will never have a condition where there will be 0 side effects, 0 adverse effect. It's not possible. But if you follow these 7, minimize it. I hope you have understood this particular topic. If yes, join my VIP group so that I can coach you one-on-one to help you not only get amazing marks in your university exam, but also in your MDS NEET. The details of how to join my coaching is already on your screen right now. I hope you have learned something new in a much better manner as compared to what has been completed in your college. Till the next time we meet, this is Dr. Avinash signing off for now. Take care, keep rocking, bye.